Well, let me throw in a question from a sort of theater critic's perspective. You're both talking about identification, compassion, empathy. You know, Brecht taught us that from the point of view of the theater anyway, those are sure ways to make an audience passive, to you know, sweep them away along their feelings and not give them any space for critical reflection, and that kills any possibility for political understanding and certainly for action. So how do you inspire compassion through a kind of identification with people who are really being beaten or figuratively being beaten without
critical thinking? I mean, that's what it seems to me that's part of the task, is to, you want something in everything we do has to be raising questions, has to be about, as Cornel was saying earlier, has to be about truth-telling, has to be about getting people to break out of that conventional wisdom that says, yeah, it's all right, turn your head, walk on by each atrocity in front of you on the street, figuratively speaking. And I see that as a critical job. I don't see this as a job for sentimentalists.
No, I think we have to understand Brecht very much like a surrealist. He's responding to a particular conception of art that had diluted the power of art and made it ornamental and decorative, so that you had a bourgeois theater with a middle-class audience that comes in and the spectatorial passivity to be either entertained or moved to pity or terror and so forth, and going right back to their everyday lives, so that art was so separate and distinct from their everyday lives that Brecht needed an alienation effect to try to shake them and unsettle them. But I think Brecht is unintelligible against the backdrop of a particular bourgeois conception of theater. And surreal is the same way. How do you ensure that art has vitality and vibrancy in the everyday life of people, as opposed to some kind of cathartic experience on the margins of their everyday life? And that has to do with, of course, the long modern processes of separating art from ritual and art from everyday reality and so forth and so on, which is a longer discussion.
Well, but then we've got a pop culture industry and a news entertainment industry that's part of what Chomsky calls that doctrinally motivated illusion that we're all laboring under. So we need something like that, right? Even if it's not exactly Brecht's vision, something that's shake us
We've got
out of there.
something so that we understand ourselves as agents, as subjects. Brecht wanted to ensure the audience would be subjects, agents, participants, as opposed to simply objects or simply objects, let's say. Now, how we do that, I mean, that's a much deeper question in terms of form. I'm not one to tread on that kind of terrain. If I actually knew it, I'd do it, but so we've got people here who can tell us some of their ideas about that.